Hello everyone, I'm Sally and today I'm joined by Lucinda Morris from Far Horizons Marketing, who is our presenter for the webinar this afternoon in London. In today's webinar, Lou will be taking us on a short journey around the Hemingways Collection's 3 iconic properties in Kenya. She has represented the Hemingways Collection for 9 years, and having also managed Ol Seki and the Masai Mara in 2005, there's very little she doesn't know about this wonderful collection. I'd just like to remind everyone that if they have any questions during the presentation or at the end, there's a Q&A box on your screen, not to be confused with the chat box. Anyway, in that Q&A box, you can type any questions you would like me to ask to Lucinda at the end, and I'll then read those out for her and she can respond. A copy of the recording will also be sent out to all of you afterwards, and that will include Lou's email address so that you can contact her with any further questions after the presentation. So over to you, Lou.
Thanks very much, Sally. Thanks everyone for giving up your time on this busy Thursday afternoon in January. I hope sales are going really well, but I do appreciate you taking the time either for the live presentation now, or if you are watching it via recording. So this is a presentation about the Hemingways collection. I know it incredibly well, as Sally said. I've been representing it for 9 years now. I was also just out there in December, so a nice little pre-Christmas getaway, which also refreshed my memory and all the things that I know and love about this place so much. So I've got the 3 properties here. Some of you may sell all of them, some may only know 1 or 2, and you want to be expanding the range of where you're selling. Some of you might just be wanting an update. But the thing about the collection is you can either sell it as a collection and use all 3 properties, or you can just pick the one that seems to suit your clients best or you prefer. Either obviously is great for us. You'll find some people use one more than the others. But I'll go into detail about each of them now of the collection. Sorry, there was not a little bump there where it wouldn't go forward. So we'll start off with Hemingways Nairobi. This was purpose-built in 2012. It's a beautiful hotel. It is, for most people, a lot of the tour operators, it is the go-to. For the clients that have got the budget, it's a wonderful first stop in Kenya and in Nairobi. And especially clients maybe that might be a little bit nervous about coming to Nairobi. When they arrive here, they suddenly feel, poof, why was I nervous? This is the most amazing start to my safari or to my holiday. So this image here is of the sort of main part, the reception, and the spa to the right-hand side there. So just a little bit about the hotel itself. It is 30 kilometres from JKIA and 15 kilometres from Wilson. Nairobi has a terrible reputation for its traffic. But with the new bypasses that have built, really, it is really not bad at all. It actually makes the M25 look like a dream, or it looks the M25 look like a nightmare compared to the Nairobi traffic. I was there, as I said, in December, and we never stood still, hardly at all. So I was very impressed with that. We've got 45 suites, so we're small enough to be sort of intimate and a boutique hotel, but large enough to be sort of international. We've got 2 presidential suites which have interconnecting rooms, and then we've got 19 executives and 24 deluxe. We have interconnecting executive and deluxe. The only difference between the executives and the deluxe is the deluxe on the first floor and executives on the ground, and a vaulted ceiling for the deluxe, but there's really nothing in it. 2020 rates you've got there, $770 per double, and then also with Virtuoso Preferred and luxury, a small luxury hotel of the world, which obviously gives us that sort of level of, where the kind of 5-star level that you're looking at. So this is the sort of entrance lobby when people arrive. So immediately get that feeling of sort of large, sort of mini grand, if you like, I like to call it. And when people arrive, they're checked in with one person behind a small little desk, not a great big long reception desk. So it's always sort of like a very personal service that you get from Hemingways Nairobi straight away. So this is one of the rooms here, 80 square meters, so it is a really good big size. The bathroom beyond, you can see double vanity units, walk-in shower, separate loo, and a lovely big walk-in wardrobe. There's also a massive balcony as well. In front of us, that chest, which has got a pop-up television, so it's smart, it's fresh. We've got butler service in all the rooms. We can offer room service. And then this is the view out of what would be your balcony. Is actually taken from the main reception area, but to your right is where the rooms, the suites come down to the right hand side. It is a 10-acre plot, and we have built on 2 acres. Built on 2 acres. So we have got 8 acres of garden. So it's a lovely country club setting that is there. And this view of the Ngong Hills. So it's in the Karen district of Nairobi. I'm not sure I said that. So it's where Karen Blixen had her coffee farm. So actually you can imagine Meryl Streep standing here saying, I had a farm in Africa at the foot of the Ngong Hills. And this is exactly where it was. So it's 17 kilometers from Nairobi city centre, but people really don't want to go to Nairobi city centre because it's so beautiful in Karen and what you can so much to be able that you can do here. You can see to the left of this slide is the swimming pool that we have, and I mentioned the spa as well. So we've got a lovely beautiful bar top left there, and we can organise private dining. There's a lovely bistro where actually most people don't sit inside, but a lot of people sit out onto the terrace, and a private lounge there as well. And at the hotel we've got a lovely boutique which sells lots of beautiful jewellery and clothes and things like that. We've got the spa at Hemingways, there's so much to do around there, as I've mentioned before. You've got the giraffe centre where people can go and feed the giraffes, and Sheldrick's elephant orphanage. We've got Kazuri beads up at the top there, Karen Blixen's house which is just across the road from Hemingways, and it's a lovely museum that you can go and visit. So there's so much that you can do there, and people, you know, we used to be, when we first started, people were spending 1 night. A lot of people are spending 2 nights here now because they want to build it into their holiday, not just have Nairobi as a stop off to get in and get out as fast as they can. They do recognise the hotel is such a lovely place to be, but also how much there is to do around there. So 1 to 2 night stay is generally what we offer. So moving on to Hemingways Watamu, many of you will have known the old Hemingways, as I like to call it. It was refurbished, $12 million worth of refurbishment, opened 2 years ago at the end of 2018. And I would say it's pretty much an entirely different hotel and feeling and atmosphere to the one that it's sort of the predecessor. It's grown up, it's grown, it's beautifully laid out, and we have gone from a 75 key hotel to a mixture of what we call residences, which are effectively apartments, and hotel rooms. So you get the best of both worlds on here. So this image here is showing the north wing, which is the old north wing, which is just the hotel rooms, and then the south wing has got the apartments. So I'll be obviously expanding on all of that. So Hemingways Watamu, where is it? It is 25 kilometres south of Malindi Airport, 120 kilometres north of Mombasa Airport. Now, I would suggest you try and get people into Malindi Airport. It's a much nicer transfer, half an hour, and it's very quick and you're there. It is a good 2 hours from Mombasa Airport, so I wouldn't use that out of choice, but it is entirely possible to do that. But Malindi's far better. Jambo Jet, Fly 540, or fly from JKIA. Also, another option is to fly, which is what I did in December, and it was a really easy journey. It was great. We flew Safari Link to Vipingo Ridge airstrip, and then it's just an hour's transfer to Watamu from there. Really easy and comfortable transfer. So I'd certainly recommend that as an option as well. So we have the 39 hotel rooms, standard and deluxe, and actually just flip back a slide so you can see that the deluxe rooms are on the top floor there, and the standard rooms are on ground floor and first floor. And then we've got the 21 apartments, 1, 2 and 4 bedroom apartments, and they are wow, and I will be showing you pictures of those all shortly, but they are the sort of, I suppose, the sort of major change that has happened to the hotel since it's the refurbishment. You'll see in the rates, it's quite varied in it. It is a seasonal hotel, which is why I've got 3 different rates here. For me, I mean, the best time to go is a sort of October through to December. That's when the winds are in the right direction. It's when, for those people that like the fishing is best. It is it's just the weather is better. I mean, for the whole of Kenya, we're sort of battling this thing that because of a great marketing move on the migration, that everyone wants to go to Kenya in July and August. But actually, those of you remember going back 10, 20 years, actually, the time to go to Kenya, especially for the British market, was January, February, March, during our worst months of winter in the UK and Europe. We want to get away and go to some sunshine. And the best season, really, in Kenya is during that time. So we have this lovely high season, and then we've got regular season where the weather isn't quite as good. The winds can pick up, and also many of you will know we can get some seaweed coming onto the beach. So that makes it, and we've obviously adjusted the prices accordingly for that. And then we've got peak season because everyone wants to be in Watamu at Christmas and New Year. And again, the prices reflect that as well. It is also a small luxury hotel of the year, and we are open all year round. So going on to a little bit more about the hotel. So rather like Hemingways Nairobi, we've got plenty of gardens for them to wander around in, beautiful views over to the ocean there. Lovely secure setting. Every hotel room has got a view of the ocean and also outside space in the form of balcony or on the ground floor. This is a deluxe hotel room here showing, and we also have twins. So it's got beautiful views over the ocean. Lovely. This is the sort of additional floor on the north wing of the hotel rooms. Incredibly comfortable and spacious and lovely ensuite, of course. And then we've got the apartments, which are what I said is my wow, and they're wonderful for families. With the one-bedroom apartments are a real luxury and wonderful for honeymooners. The family ones, 2 and 4 bedroom apartments, they just take it up a notch. Lovely, great big, huge balconies. We've got a fully equipped kitchen. Now we don't expect people to start cooking their roast chicken dinners here, but the facilities are all there should you want to sort of cook some pasta for the children, or make a cup of tea or whatever. But it does feel that you're living like in a house and a home more than it does a hotel room. It is a totally different feeling, and for those who have sold the apartments, you'll know how well received they are by the clients. And for those of you who have been lucky enough to come on fam trips, you'll also know that they really are the creme de la creme at Watamu, in all of Watamu, really. The traditional Hemingways bar, which has seen many a raucous night, I'm sure, and beautiful, spacious. We offer food here, out onto the ocean front, and we have lots of dining experiences which are possible at Hemingways. So we've got the restaurant, and we can offer a la carte, and then the bar on the right, which you've just seen, and then we've got the Gedi ruin, not the Gedi ruins, because that is something I'll tell you about later. The Gedi Cafe, which serves pizzas and pastries and things like that. And if you want a pizza and you want it outside the bar, we can do that, and we can move things around. So you don't have to just be stuck in the restaurant and having a la carte only there. So we can move things around. The bottom right-hand picture shows where you can order a pizza and have one by the pool there. But this is a new pool that we built behind the north wing, which is lovely because it's a bit more sheltered. If the wind comes up a little bit, then you've got a sheltered swimming pool to go to, as well as the one that is on the ocean front as well. So it just shows that you've got plenty of places to sit out, plenty of places to be private, or to have a little bit of a change of scene, and all the different places that you can dine and eat. We normally do bed and breakfast. The rates I told you about are bed and breakfast rates. We can do a half and full board supplement, and that is not a problem at all. The reason that we've been going slightly more towards bed and breakfast is we're very much trying to promote destination Watamu. There is so much to do in Watamu that we want you to explore it. And I think where it wins over Diani is that it's not just a series of hotels there. There are sort of private houses, so there are more restaurants, and there is a lot to do and so many activities that we actually want people to go out and try. There's a lovely place up the beach that I went to on my fam trip, and we took all the Asians there because we were like, come and see what else you can see in Watamu. We went to this wonderful little Italian called Paparimo, and we went and had a lovely lunch, and you can sit and relax by the beach there to go to a different beach. And it's really it's lovely. A place called Crab Shack as well we've been to, which is on the mangroves, and you get fresh crab samosas and a cold tusk of beer. It's just heaven, and you know that you're really on holiday in Kenya when you're eating that kind of food. I hope I'm not making you feel jealous out there on the cold January afternoon. Activities wise, well, you'll know that Hemingways is very famous for its deep sea fishing, tag and release. We've got our own boats, so all the sort of sailfish and things like that. Sometimes we can also fish for the table, but the big game is all tag and release, but we fish for the table as well, should people do it. And if they want to cook back in the hotel, we can do that. So that's rather fun to do. The right-hand picture here is of a dhow going up Meader Creek, and we offer a sunset dhow cruise, which is great fun to do, and most people who stay at the hotel will go up and do the dhow trip. It's brilliant fun. We've also got, offering activities like kite surfing. We can offer diving. There's a dive centre and there's 2 dive centres actually on the beach there. We're just outside, we've also straight in front of Hemingways, it's a marine conservation area, so the snorkeling is incredible there, and really, really well worth doing. When I was there, we went dolphin watching and saw the dolphins, and in the whale watching season we also have humpback whales which pass by in, I think it's July, August sort of time, so they can do the double migration. They can go to the Mara and see the wildebeest migration, and then come to Watamu and see the humpbacks migrate as well, which is rather fun. So there's masses and masses to do at Watamu. So moving on to Ol Seki and the Mara, there are, many people will know this is the place that I managed back in 2005 when it was built, before it became Hemingways. Hemingways actually took it over in, I think it was 2012, and made lots of lovely improvements and additions to it, which I will tell you about. But this is a place really, really close to my heart, and obviously combines brilliantly with Watamu and Nairobi, but as I said, you can use it as a standalone. You don't have to combine all of them. So just looking at this aerial view of Ol Seki makes me feel rather homesick actually. But if you're looking on we've got eight different tents here. We've got 2 family tents, and then we have got 6 what we called Nina tents, which are sort of like nothing standard about them, these large luxury double tents. But we call them Nina tents. But if you look on your far left-hand side of the picture, that tent there is actually the Simba tent, which is one of the family tents I'll tell you a little bit more about. And then actually further left out of shot is the second family tent, which is called the Chewy tent. I will tell you a bit more about those in details in a second. But your access is 45 minutes flight from Nairobi to Ol Seki, so Safari Link or Kenya, and very easy. 45 minutes. It's often very often because of where it's located in Nabosho. You land at the Nabosho Ol Seki airstrip, and very often it's either the first or the last stop. So you don't have to go bumping around the Mara. So when all the times I've been there recently, we've always been first stop, but I can't obviously guarantee that. Number of tents we've talked about, six doubles and two family tents. And again, 2020 rates here. We've got the 3 seasons, regular, high and peak. Now, Ol Seki is really known for its value for money, and that's really where we place this. This is known to be excellent for honeymooners, first timers, families. It is not, there are other camps in the Mara which are offering services and prices which are way above this. So where we are pitching really is for the market where, as I said, honeymooners and first timers and families, it sits really well in this price bracket. So on top of these great rates that you see here, and we've just got some specials which I'll quickly run through, and obviously I can email these to anybody who doesn't already have them, but our specials, for example, are book 3, stay 3 and stay 3 and pay 2, excluding premium season. So it's for regular and high, but we've got book 4, stay 3, which is all year round, and a bride goes for free, which is why it is so popular for honeymooners, and that is valid for the regular season as well. One tour operator told me that they actually call it Ol Sexy between them because it's so well known for its honeymoon offer. And we are closed during May, but we are open all the rest of the year, and actually we have decided to stay open during November as well because we were getting such good business. So Hemingways in Namara is in the Nabosha Conservancy, and we have our airstrip going in there. It is the most beautiful conservancy. It's 200 square kilometres and there are only 7 camps there. So you're not seeing a lot of other vehicles. The other camps were in really, really good company there. I'm not going to give them airtime by telling you who they are, but you know them all, and they're really good quality camps as well. And it means that actually everyone is pulling together to create this wonderful conservancy. And this picture here is actually shows the family Simba tent. So I'm just going to try and describe to you the two family tents. So one is all under one canvas, much better for younger children, you know, those that you want them under the same canvas as you, but you want a separate room from them. So you can see here, this is the twin bedroom. And then in the middle bit, you've got the sitting room, dining room area, and then through again to another bedroom, which is a double. All of them are en suite. And actually you can see in the foreground of this picture in front of you, that is a sofa, but it can be made into a triple if it is needed. Children at Ol Seki are welcome of all ages, but if they are under the age of 8, they must be in one of the family tents. And then the second, and then all of the Nina tents, the normal tents, are exactly the same size as this. So, you know, you get the feel of what the tent would be, but it's just as an individual unit. The second family tent, which is called the Chewy tent, is 2 double bedrooms and a third dining room, sitting room tent, and they're connected by walkways, raised wooden walkways. So maybe better for older children. You know, when I'm sort of talking maybe 12 and above, where you don't feel they have to be under the same bit of canvas as you, or 2 adult couples traveling together works really well because they're separate and private enough for that. You know, it works well for that option. You get your own guide and your own vehicle if you are in any of the family tents, and also private dining as well. And it actually is about the same amount as 4 full-paying adults. So it's really, really good value for money, certainly if you are 4 adults traveling together, because on top of that, you get your private guide and your private dining. This is a shot of the lovely library tent where people go and hang out and relax and read books, and the bar, and is served beautiful drinks by our wonderful staff. So now the exciting part, which is our brand new swimming pool. It was opened in June last year, 2019. And it is lovely to have a swimming pool there, just to have a refreshing dip in that hot Mara sun. We've got a fire pit, so it's wonderful for in the evening, the fire pit. It all overlooks a watering hole, so plenty of game that go by. Ol Seki is set high in this rocky promontory, which you hopefully you saw on that first image. So when you open your curtains in the morning or sit by the pool, all the animals in the game below, you're watching the elephants go by and the giraffe, and see if you can spot the lion. And when I was there in December, we were sitting around the fire and we're hearing all the lions roar and hyenas giggle around us. So it's an amazingly special spot. I mean, I'm totally biased because I said it's like my home, but it is incredible. And with the addition of the pool, it makes it even more versatile. And it gives you the USP, you know, over some of our competitors. Just to explain these 2 tents also, one is the dining room tent and the other one is the library tent. So it's sort of very, very well laid out. And obviously you have to do these sort of like the pool shot of where you can look and drink your gin and tonic and watch out on the plains game below. There is much more of a feel towards communal dining at Ol Seki, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way all the time. We can offer private dining, either just by giving people dinner on their balcony, or perhaps down on the swimming pool decking or by the fire pit. And also they can be more adventurous, and we charge a small fee if people want to go out and do some private bush dining. We can do that. There's a little cave down below the camp, which we can organise for that. It's very romantic. So there's sort of lots of different dining options. We also offer the option for everyone will have a sort of bush breakfast as well at some point when they are staying there. The game at Ol Seki is fantastic. The difference, I think the major difference, well, there's quite a few differences from when I managed it, probably the level of managers actually. We have an amazing manager called Debbie, who everyone falls in love with and can say no wrong about. She is awesome. But one of the things is the level of game, since it's become a conservancy, because when it was first built, it wasn't within a conservancy. And we have amazing cat sightings. sightings. They've got record numbers of lions. I think I'm right in saying they counted 56 lion recently. We've got resident cheetah mum with 4 cubs. She raised 4 on her own, which I was lucky enough to see when I was there. Wonderful Ellies, everything you'd expect, everything but rhino. We don't see rhino there, but everything else, you know, you are very, very likely to see, and we certainly did when I was out there in December. So sort of my penultimate slide really, just to sort of like sum up how wonderful Ol Seki is, and it is really the sort of the dream in the Mara. You're out of the reserve, so you haven't got the crowds that you do get within the reserve. It's an amazingly well looked after conservancy. People will get incredible game viewing experiences here. That does conclude my presentation, but just before I hand over to Sally, actually, sorry, just 1 minute. The one thing I didn't say, I realised in the Hemingways, we also have special offers at Hemingways as well. Sorry, at Hemingways Watamu, sorry to confuse you. We have a stay 4, pay 3 and a stay 7, pay 5. So, you know, when you combine all of these and all the offers and the really good pricing that you've got, you know, we can keep things in a really reasonable budget, whether you're using all of the collection or just 1 or 2 of the properties. And now I'll hand back to Sally.
Thank you so much, Lou, for that lovely presentation. It's made me rather homesick too. We have got some questions I can see already. If anyone else has any now, you can please feel free to type them into the Q&A box and I'll field those to Lou now. So the first one we have is from Kerry, who is asking whether you can swim in the sea at Watamu and also whether there is a decent beach.
Yes, certainly you can swim in the sea. It is a marine conservation area, so it's really lovely. There's also, so there's masses to see and you can snorkel. There is a reef which is just beyond Hemingways, sort of out obviously into the ocean, which means that it makes the sea very gentle. And so the reef is a very good thing. It makes it gentle. So excellent swimming for there. That was the first part. What was the second part?
The second part was whether there's a decent beach.
Decent beach, yes, absolutely. You can go slightly to the right of Hemingways. I mean, right in front when the tide is a bit further out, because the tide does come all the way up to the wall. But when the tide is out a little bit to the right, there's beautiful beaches and lovely walk that you can do along there. Watamu is lovely for that. So yes, good beaches.
Thanks. And then another question about Watamu is from Bill. What season did you say the humpback migration was?
The humpback migration is July, August into September. I think it's mid-July to mid-September. Obviously, they choose their timings and when they really do migrate, but that is the sort of expected window for them to migrate in.
Thank you. Another question from Bill. This is quite specific. Referring back to the hotel in, I think it's in Nairobi. Yeah. It looks like the snow in the Alps in summer. Can it actually be Mount Kenya, referring to a picture on the wall?
So say that again. Is it Mount Kenya is the question?
So Bill is, I'll read it to you. He basically says the photo on the wall in the room in Nairobi looks quite out of context, like it's snow in the Alps in summer, but could it actually be Mount Kenya? Yes,
I think it probably could be. I don't think they would put an Alps picture. So yes, I think they're all African pictures and each room is different in the way that it's been presented. So yes, it is definitely Kenyan. And each of the rooms are named after, like we've got the Blixen Suite and the Hemingway Suite, but we've also got all the rooms are named after different explorers, and then the decoration within that room or the pictures are around that explorer. So it's always very relevant.
Okay, great. Back to the coast, a question from Julie. What are the chances of seeing the humpback whales? Is it about 50%, 75%? And can she assume that whale watching tours are available to book through Hemingways?
So if you'd asked me this question this time last year, I'd say, oh, you've got a really good chance of seeing them. They were seeing them, you know, regularly. How regularly, I would have to get back, but I was told very good. This last season, they saw them very little. So it's very difficult to be able to say and guarantee it. And yes, you can definitely book the whale watching through Hemingways. And it is something that we have been promoting because we've had for the last 4 or 5 years, really, really strong humpback sightings and migration. And then having said that, this year was this last July and August was the quietest year that we've had for a number of years, but who knows why that is? Ask the whales. So yes, it is definitely there to be seen.
Okay, great. And then another question about Watamu from Natalie, who says, I believe that there is a beach wall, and what is the concept behind that?
Has always been a beach wall since it was built 30 years ago. The hotel was built 30 years ago. During the refurbishment in 2018, that wall was replaced, still within the same curtilages of the agreement from 30 years ago, but within the same area, but it was rebuilt because it structurally needed to be. But there's always been a seawall there, and the seawall is still there.
Thanks, Lou. And another question from Fiona is, she's asking about the sea in July and August. Since you mentioned the seaweed, is it okay to swim? What's it like?
Yes, so it's absolutely fine to swim in all year round. There's not a problem. The seaweed all comes and goes because of the way the trade winds goes. Was it Kuzi and Kazkazi? And when the trade winds change, which is usually around October time, then it pushes the seaweed in a different direction away from us. When the trade winds come the other way, then there is seaweed in there. It is absolutely fine to swim. Some days are worse than others. It's a weather pattern. It is a natural phenomenon, and it can be not so good one day, and then the tide will change around, and the winds will change around, the current change around, and it all disappears again. But you have to be aware, if you are sending international guests to us, you have to be aware of it during that time. And I'm happy for further discussions with anyone during that, but it is something that you have to be aware of. There are swimming pools there. And it's a lovely place still to go. As I said, you've got the migration, you've got dolphins to go and watch, but it is one of the things that is there as sort of like that is plain to see, that it is not the white pristine sandy beaches you see in photographs during that time, and it just depends on the wind direction.
Okay, thanks. On to Ol Seki now. Kerry's asking, how many people can you fit around the fire pit at Ol Seki?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I took a fam trip, and there were, what were we, 8, 9, 10, with including Debbie and everything, and we were all comfortably round there. Yeah, you can do 10, 12, comfortably sit that many, probably more actually. Sorry, I'm slightly thinking out loud on this one. I'm trying to visualize myself in my gin and tonic back there in December. So yeah, I mean, you could easily get the whole camp, and also if you remember the family tents, usually in the evening will probably be in their area then. So you've only got to do 12 people around there for the Nina tents, so it's comfortable to get everyone around there.
Thanks. And a question from Natalie for Ol Seki as well. Is there access made for people in wheelchairs or people who struggle to walk?
Yes, I'm trying to think. So there's the ones that are closest to the raised walkways everywhere. I think, Natalie, I will get your email address and get somebody to answer that slightly better than I can. But the ones closest to the mess tent, to the central area, would be more appropriate to those people finding it difficult to walk. It's not lots of steps, and it is not on lots of different levels. What I would need to get clarification is how suitable it is for wheelchair users. That's what I'm hesitating on. So if I could just get Natalie's details, and then I can get a more detailed answer on that for her.
Okay, great. I will sort that out for you afterwards.
Thank you.
A second question from Natalie is whether the camp is fenced and how you keep the wildlife out, especially out of the pool.
We haven't yet had anyone into the pool. So it's not fenced at all. No, not at all. Do animals migrate through it? Well, from my experience of when it was, we'd always walk around with an askari at night, with a guard at night, and guests are always after dark. During daylight hours, people are just asked to be aware and look around, but the game really doesn't come into the camp during daylight hours. So yes, they can. We haven't had game into the pool, because the access is sort of more that the game would come up from the bottom. It can't, because it's rocky in front of the in front of the pool. So we haven't got that iconic picture of an elephant with its trunk in the pool, I'm afraid.
The next question is from Jay, who's asking whether you could please repeat the private vehicle policy at Ol Seki.
Yes, so if you take a family tent, either the Chewy or the Simba tents, then you get a private vehicle and guide. If you wanted to take a private vehicle for yourself, there is a set rate for that, which I'm just looking to see if I can see that, but there is an extra charge if you want to take a private vehicle, of which I could get the price for you. I haven't got it on my cheat sheet here. So you just need to, I'd find out how much it was for a private vehicle, but we can organise that, no problem. On availability as well, because it does depend on how many, if other people want it or, how we do it. But there are private vehicles available on availability.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question is from Julie. Is there a discount to combine Ol Seki and Hemingways Watamu?
Yes, if you combine any two, there's a further 5% override on that. So you could do Nairobi and Ol Seki or Ol Seki and Watamu, but you get an extra 5%.
Okay, thanks. Next question is from Farai. Do you partner with properties outside of Kenya for combos?
No. It's as simple as that. No, we don't.
Okay, a question about Watamu now. Would the whale shark migration also be something you would take clients to? So this season is February, March.
The whale shark migration?
Correct, yeah.
I don't know about that, I'm afraid. I can find out. We can at any point they could take a fishing boat out and not fish and charter a boat. They'll certainly be able to do boat chartering. Specifically for whale sharks, I would have to find out about that.
Okay, back to Nairobi. Fiona's asking, how long are Nairobi taking with quotes, as she is waiting to hear back?
Okay, all right. Fiona, could you email me, please, and let me know the details of your quotes, and I will sort that out for you.
Okay, one more question from Merit. Are bushwalks included at Ol Seki?
Yes, bushwalks are included at Ol Seki.
Okay, fantastic. That is the end of the questions that I can see now. So if we have any more in the next few seconds, then I'll read them out, but there don't seem to be any. So I think we'll end on that note. And if anyone has any afterwards, please feel free to drop Lou a line. I will include her contact details in the webinar recording email, which is being sent out to all of you later today. Sorry, I can see we have one more question, so we'll just do that one. This one's from Cara, who says, do you work closely with Kenya Airways? Are there preferential fares, etc.?
No, I mean, we as a collection, we a sort of standalone. So we go through your DMC in order to do that, but we don't as the Hemingways Collection, we don't actually work with it. We do have a DMC arm called Hemingways Expeditions. I haven't talked about that because actually that is kept completely separately, whether your DMC be Hemingways Expeditions or whether it be Kelly and Peacock, that is their relationship with the internal airlines, whereas the collection of hotels, it doesn't have a relationship with them, if that makes sense.
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you very much to everyone for attending, and we hope to see you all next week. There's another webinar next week and the following week, so please do sign up for those via our events page on the website. Otherwise, thank you so much, Lou, for a fantastic presentation, and good afternoon from London.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.